Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Bisfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are here with our Stage 2 Week 4 wrap-up for the Dallas Homestand. We did not do a stream this week. We had scheduling things, but we're here. We're going to talk about it, and we were pretty excited watching it, so we definitely wanted to say, we have a lot to say about it. So let's dive into it. So first, let's just talk about the atmosphere, which was the biggest thing.
I mean, you could feel it just from the very start during the Watch Point pregame thing. Like, you could just feel the energy throughout the whole arena or event center or whatever the hell it is. It was an arena. Let's say that. The
Allen Convention Center, whatever it's called. It was Allen something or other. Anyway, that's not important.
But like, you could just feel the energy in the whole place. Like, it was just electric. Yeah. Minus the lack of electricity that they had to start it, which was a total bummer. But honestly, nothing they can really control, because it was like...
It wasn't an arena thing.
It was a regional thing.
Yeah, which is fucking hilarious. You're like,
we're
doing this thing, and it's like, really today?
Right, of all the times. right now.
They did a good job to get back into the flow and all that stuff. But that crowd was amazing. And
the crowd was incredible. And, like, just even from the first game, even though they weren't, like, because it definitely was different once Dallas came out.
Oh, when Dallas came out, it was lit. But it was still
even more insane. But, like, even, before that, like, for all the games that weren't the hometown teams or, like, close teams, the crowd was just going nuts. And it just really brought a whole lot more energy, because, like, it's something that's kind of lacking with the regular games, because you're not really having that as much, because there's just not nearly as much of excitement, because I think people in that area are just getting a little burnt out of seeing all these teams play constantly. They're not getting as big of a turnout either. So,
and also from a traditional sports perspective, I mean, and you'll understand this, Los Angeles gets bored.
Yes.
They get bored fast.
Yeah, they do.
And, if it's not exciting, if it's not championship stuff, they lose interest really fast. It's just...
There's so much other stuff to do there. So
the sun's out every damn day.
Right.
It's not like here, where it rains for 6 months out of the year.
Right.
Or snows.
Some kind of precipitation or something that prevents you from wanting to be outside.
Yeah, we're obsessed with sports in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And even like esports and stuff like that. I'm going to watch it, because I can't look out my window and go, oh, it's 75 and sunny. I'm going to go to the beach.
Because even in Texas, it's like the opposite problem, where it's so ungodly hot most of the time that people are just like, I ain't going out in that.
Yeah. Their obsession lies with Friday night.
Yeah, right.
And football in general. But that was like a football crowd, though. Yeah,
it felt like it. Hey,
it was like
we do football well up here. This is the birthplace of football. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Well, that was like a football meets WWE crowd, like that kind of energy.
With everything about it, it was just like, it just took everything to another level. Like, it almost felt like it's pretty much the closest we've had to what we got. Like, I'd say it was better than the World Cup. It wasn't quite the grand finals of last year. Because that was another 18,000 people more than what you got at this.
Yeah, with more on the line too and all that. But it was.
But I would say this rivaled it.
Even like we were talking about, like, the other matches, like the Chengdu Hangzhou match. They were way in, and it was great. As soon as Amen came out on the fucking wrecking ball, everybody was like going nuts. They had to throw the guys off too. They were playing a little bit, because you're not used to. you're used to noise, but not that.
You're not used to like building shaking noise like you're getting with what they had going on. Like, there was times where it was drowning out the announcers. Like, it was just so awesome to hear and see. And
when you drown out Uber, you're
that's
pretty fucking loud.
For sure. All right, so let's do a quick recap of what happened this weekend. So starting off, we had Paris and London, and London just did work. Paris could get nothing done in this game.
Yeah, London looked really, really good. They almost had that. We'll talk about them later on too.
Yeah.
They had that last year kind of vibe about them, where they were just confident. They went in and did what they do, clutched out maps, and just Paris had no answer.
Yeah, Paris just looked lost. Like there was really not much that they could do. They had no answers for any of it.
And that's pretty much been their year. They have they're middle of the pack, if that.
Really, the only map where Paris showed any signs of life was in King's Row.
Yeah,
and even then, you still kind of had that overarching feeling that London still was pretty much in control of it.
Yeah, they kind of. I mean, it was a good battle. I mean,
yeah,
it was a 5-4 thing, but you knew in the end London was going to do something, and that's the thing.
It's just even if Paris had taken that map, you knew it was going to Junkertown, and London just dominates on Junkertown.
Yeah, and the thing is this is the thing with Paris. Like I said, you're expecting, you have in the back of your mind, London's going to do something. Paris doesn't have anyone that's going to do the something. London's got 5 guys that could do that.
Right.
At any given moment.
I feel like it would be a little bit different if it wasn't GOATs. I feel like Paris would be much more dangerous because of what we saw in their next game, and we'll talk about that in a bit.
But the thing is the hilarious thing is everyone was dubbing Paris as the GOATs Masters.
Yeah.
When they actually do better when they play opposite.
Yeah. I mean,
right now.
And they did look, to start the season, they looked phenomenal on GOATs, and then people figured it out, and they just haven't been the same since. And honestly, I do think that now that they've figured it out, this is a team that is better suited to being able to use their DPS as they need to, because Nico is really very good. Gray is able to play where he is able to play, or when he gets to play DPS. Same thing, Shadowburn.
Yeah.
All those guys they're so much better at DPS than they are at anything else.
And I think starting to put Gray in has helped them out a little bit too. And Cloudy.
Yeah, Gray has been a fantastic Zenyatta for them, and just flex support.
Yeah, we'll call him Flex for this weekend because
his Ana was disgusting.
Oh, and by the way, just one last thing on this. Someone finally got the Peekaboo Widow, and that was Gesture.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
On King's Row. So, for all the people that say it doesn't work, why did it do that? That's that right there, I guess. I mean, it really didn't prove anything, except for they went in the fight 6-5.
Right.
But someone finally got someone doing that.
Yeah, I love it.
And it was a main tank.
Right, which is even funnier. I love it. All right, so the next match we had was Hangzhou versus Chengdu, and this match did not go as expected.
No, Hangzhou
really came up swinging this week.
Yeah, they did, and they're slowly but surely getting to where everybody thought that they were going to be. Mm-hmm. It was like at the beginning they were like, oh, well, they're the best this and that. But I think that one of the biggest things is they started playing Crystal. People, I think, underestimated how good this guy is. They
started playing Crystal, but they also started playing Guxue all the time.
Yeah.
I think those two things, I mean, Guxue happened a little bit before Crystal, but ever since Crystal has come in, it has completely transformed this team to just be what we thought they were going to be.
Exactly. And I mean, Chengdu gave him a fight, which they always do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This was one of the closest 3-1s that I've seen in a while.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like Hangzhou was going to lose at any point, though.
True.
And it was nothing against Chengdu. It's just when Hangzhou had to nut up, they did.
Yeah.
And sometimes Chengdu has trouble doing that because of the comps they play and stuff like that. It's just, and it's nothing against them. It's just, on paper, Hangzhou's a better team. And they're actually starting to play like it, I think.
Hangzhou is really starting to figure out their teamwork, their communication, their ultakami, all of that stuff is just getting better and better
And
week
the
in,
nerves
week
are
out.
down too.
Yeah.
Which was...
And I think that was definitely something that was affecting them. Like, they had that pressure of, like, oh, look at all the talent on this team. Like, you guys should be a top-tier team. And I think that definitely affected them.
And that environment that was so loud, and there is no pun intended in this. Please do not take it this way. How raucous the crowd was.
Yeah.
They weren't in Houston, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was just like something that if you have like straight stage things going and it's like out of control like that already, you know what I mean? It could snowball into something, but they actually did really well in that environment. Mm-hmm. And
for sure.
And like I said, Chengdu didn't play bad. They did what they do, and they took a map. They could have taken they could have taken it to 5, but that Junkertown was, well, it was Junkertown, so it was a hot mess as normal.
So I mean, Blizzard was like basically the same thing. Like that, like just the defense that you can pull off on Blizzard World is frustrating.
Blizzard World's a frustrating map anyway. It's
really
not my favorite. In fact, of all the hybrid maps, that's probably my least favorite of all of them.
Same. It might be one of my least favorite maps.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Well,
and that's saying a lot because I love hybrid maps, but like, God, I hate this map so much.
Difficult to play when you're solo queuing is what it is. And I think that's why most people hate it.
Yeah.
It's difficult because you have to be so coordinated going in on the first point on attack.
Oh, for sure.
And because it never snowballs the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the point, but 9 times out of 10, you get the point, and they're in the doorway shutting you down before you even get to that first choke point.
Right.
When you're in the solo queue thing. And it happens in this league, too. And these guys are pros.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely an issue with that map. Hangzhou just looked really, really good. Chengdu just didn't have quite enough to really do what they needed to do to win the game.
Yeah. And
they kind of made up for it later in the next game that they played, but we'll get to that.
This was to me, this was kind of a separation match for Hangzhou.
I agree.
I think
that they've really
solidify themselves. Okay, look, we're decent, guys. We're
decent, and we're getting better
together.
Yeah, I think that this was definitely a statement game for them, and they're saying, okay, if we sneak into these stage playoffs, y'all better watch out.
Yeah, and it's a true story there.
Yeah, no one wants to play that team.
No, and no one really wants to play Chengdu in any kind of situation like that if they happen to sneak in.
Yeah, for
sure.
I
mean, most of the teams will probably be able to handle that, but there's always the chance where it doesn't work. What you doing?
That off chance.
Yeah. So let's move into the next match, shall we?
Yes. Just
so
basically getting our confirmation.
Yeah.
Of further confirmation of what we already knew.
Hashtag stay
Seoul
hard.
is a very good team. Seoul is really good, and honestly, the biggest thing that I got out of this game and then this weekend with Seoul is the return of Rouge Hong.
I was going to say, Rouge Hong went in the time machine, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Finally, I mean, I got to see, like, other than watching, like, videos of Apex, I'm going, oh, this is Rouge Hong. Okay.
Right.
Holy shit, this dude is nuts.
Yeah.
And he was doing it on Zen, too. He hard carried them a couple times, man.
Oh, man. The amount that he was doing in this game was just ridiculous. And then also on top of that, you're getting some phenomenal main tank play from Marvel. Michelle continues to show that he's one of the best divas in the league. Like, this team is really starting to figure things out, and it's with a roster that I don't think anybody would have expected.
And Fitz is looking good, too. I mean...
Exactly. That's the other guy.
quote-unquote B roster, as everybody, like, including us, was calling it when they threw him in there against Washington.
Right, like you're not playing Fleta, and you're not playing Fleta or Fissure, and they're looking better than they ever did with either of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but it's working.
Whatever, it works.
Yeah.
Keep rolling with it.
Hey,
because this team just keeps they're getting better and better week in, week out, similar to Hangzhou, but I think that this team even has a higher ceiling because of their pedigree and
because
everything that they're
leadership
showing.
like Rouge Hong.
exactly. You still got Rouge Hong, you still got Toby, you still got Munchkin has been fantastic. His versatility is absurd.
Yeah, and his Brigida is one of the better ones. I like it because it's aggressive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gets caught out of position and stuff like that occasionally, but there's so many times where gets the bash in at the right time. Mm-hmm. He's really good at Brigida.
I mean, look at when he on Rialto when he was playing as Anna.
Yeah.
Like you have one of the best Annas in the world in Rouge Hong, and you got Munchkin playing it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And he was living up to it. Like that was the most incredible thing, because you don't want to take Rouge Hong off his end, because that's what he's really made his name at. But he's also an incredible Anna. So the fact that he was able to play as well as he was, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was. And
yeah,
they were looking good, and Houston is just Houston at this point.
Oh my God. And the surprising thing is, honestly, Houston did something that we've been wanting them to do, and that's just play Spree for sake.
And it's gonna the thing is, it's gonna take a little bit to get that. Yep. I think what happened with like these people that were Zarya gods that came into the league last year, it's a different animal. Like when you're talking Spree and you're talking like Gagori. Yeah. That was that 3-3 meta before Dive came in. Right. Where you were playing a different style of Zarya.
Yeah.
So I think these guys, mechanically, they know how to play Zarya, but when you're playing GOAT, you need the aggression of like a DPS player.
Exactly. And they're still trying to play it like an off tank.
Yeah. Where you're being a little bit more passive. You're playing for the ult game, which, I mean, inevitably you're doing. Mm-hmm. But I think this league has taken it, the style of Zarya to a different level. Like, look, if you're running GOAT, she's your damage. She has to be at 100%, and you have to just go in there and just start firing on people.
Right. But that being said, I do think that he's a better option. He is their best option. If you're going to run Zarya and run 3-3, you take the loss of flexibility by having him there. And then also having Dante play, him and Dante.
Yeah, Dante plays Sombra, or,
and Jake. I think that's their best lineup possibility. Like, I mean, there's definitely times where you could probably switch out Jake for Linkser, or...
Yeah, map dependent.
Yeah, map dependent, but, I mean...
Jake would be my guy that was in there right now. Jake and Dante.
Yeah.
Because Dante's more flexible than people give him credit for.
Everyone's
like, he just plays Tracer and Sombra. But he's got a really good Zarya. And see, the thing is if you have them in there and you want to get off Sombra Goats, you can flip. Yeah, I know the ult economy thing and whatever, but you can flip him on a Zarya. Spree can play a decent enough Diva. Mm-hmm. Or you can just I'm sure Dante can play Diva. Yeah. You have some sort of aim and a brain. I mean,
right.
Anyway, but yeah. Seoul looked good, and Houston just was Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, their fans were out, but...
we figured out how overwhelmed they got with that other game. We'll talk about that in a bit. So, last game of the Saturday matches was
the feature match.
LA, the feature match. Honestly, this was probably one of the closest 4-0s I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's the Valiant right now.
Yeah.
The Valiant aren't as terrible as they were last stage.
Yeah, they are dramatically improving. They looked a lot better the next day, but yeah, Dallas just... I think they came out and they just had... you felt the energy.
They were feeding off that
to them,
energy.
And they really were. It was incredible.
Yeah. And the crowd was feeding off it more than anybody. Holy shit. Oh my God. Dude was on fire.
Yeah, he was, this was probably some of the most insane play I've ever seen out of Oj.
He was...
And that's saying a lot.
I mean, he was hard carrying on main tank for some of it. I mean, I was like, whoa.
He really was.
He was and it wasn't like Bumper going whatever Bumper does. It was legit hard carry, not crazy flanky, weird. I'm just going to get my ult in 3 seconds. I'm going to swing YOLO style. he was like playing main tank at like an insane level.
Yeah, he really was. It was pretty incredible to watch. And like, yeah, and it's not to say that the Valiant played poorly. Like, Dallas just outplayed them in general, and like any time you thought the Valiant would kind of take something, like Dallas just came through and they had like someone made a big play.
Yeah.
And kept and won them the match or won them the map or whatever, like the fight. However, it all worked out. Like they just had that edge, and like you could totally feel how much they were feeding off the crowd.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait for next year to see how other arenas, and because there's going to be some places that are going to be loud, some places are going to be meh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's regular sports.
Right. I do think Dallas is definitely going to be one of those places that a lot of teams are not going to want to play there.
Yeah, that's going to be a hornet's nest.
Yeah, that's going to be one. Because, I mean, they already have a pretty rabid fan base.
And I'm going with Philly as another one because, well,
yeah,
it's Philly.
It's Philly.
They got to live up to that standard.
I think there's, like, New York is going to be one of those where...
Yeah.
It's going to be similar to a regular New York game where it's like, if they're playing really well, holy shit, you don't want to play there. But if they have any moments where they don't look good, like that crowd is going to be deafeningly silent.
Or they're going to turn on their own team. Like,
exactly. Right.
The same thing with Philly. Mm-hmm. They're a little different in esports, though. I mean, they're not quite as belligerent.
Yeah, definitely not. But I mean, that's... whether you're drunk or whatever is gonna, like, it's just that fan mentality of those places. Like, it's just kind of like it's gonna be a lot of carryover into some of these places. Yeah, and I think I think obviously Seoul's gonna be insane. I think the Chinese venues are probably gonna be insane. Oh, for sure.
I just can't wait to see where like the unexpected ones are, where you're like, oh shit, this place is crazy. Honestly,
I think the one that's gonna be not like no one's going to be expecting how crazy it is going to be Toronto.
Yeah, I think Toronto could be nuts. They gotta get out of the doldrums though. They're kind of like
they do.
That's a story for later on next week. And you're just a quick side note. Speaking of getting drunk, the Overwatch League now has a beer sponsor, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, right.
So dilly, I guess. You couldn't get a craft beer sponsor.
No,
really?
Right.
You're in fucking California. And I don't want to go on this. Guys, I'm a big craft beer guy. I do not condone Bud Light for anything other than maybe to wash your driveway. Other than that, there's repercussions from that.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like it might deteriorate the fucking pavement. Anyway, but I just wanted to throw that out there. It's a big sponsor, though. It puts you.
It's huge for them.
It puts you in a regular sports league kind of thing.
Exactly,
it really does. I mean, I wasn't expecting like Ballast Point, the sponsor of the Overwatch League, or something.
Right, but I think also like that kind of brings it to another like kind of appealing to.
Oh, I can be an adult and like the Overwatch League.
Exactly. It's kind of appealing to that part and becoming a little bit more legit. And then also that's something else that we kind of found is like the chants that some of these fans were throwing out there were amazing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like that's the kind of like atmosphere that I'm like, that makes me so excited because it's not just this like like overly forced family friendly that you kind of felt like they were trying to go for in season 1,
which is fine. I mean,
yeah, and I get it. Like, you don't want to. Obviously, you don't want it to turn into like 1980s NBA basketball, where you're in an arena that's completely filled with smoke, and you've got Boston fans chanting basically for somebody's head. Like,
yeah. Well, I remember. Well, I grew up in that area, and me and my friends actually went up to a Celtics playoff game. Oh, it was like, guys, I'm really old. I think it was. I wanted to go see shit, I forget. I think they were playing the Sixers.
Okay.
And it was in May, and they didn't have air conditioning at the Boston Garden. Like, literally no air conditioning.
Gross.
And the Bruins were playing in the playoffs too, and it was like a weird, like 85-degree day in April. Mm-hmm. So they put it's not like now where they kind of move the floors in and out.
Yeah. They just put the floorboards over the ice, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and the fucking floorboards got all like warped and soaked from the ice because the ice was melting, so they had to fucking cancel the game.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that was 80s basketball. Yeah, and also, you don't want your crowd to be like you guys were in the late 80s, early 90s in football.
Oh, dear God, right?
Battery chucking drunk weirdos. But it just, I think it adds, yeah, okay, you know, I want some rowdy. Yes. I want some rowdiness. I don't want violent rowdy. I want some, like Dallas's crowd was amazing. That was fantastic. It was
exactly what I want in a crowd, and like, that's kind of what I'm hoping, and I know some crowds are going to be a little bit different in that sense, and like, but that I think that really gives us a good baseline, for what we can expect. All right, so let's move on to Sunday. We had Hangzhou,
where the matches were way better. Yeah, this is the best day of matches we've had in a month.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Hangzhou, Paris.
That was a great match.
Back and forth. This was phenomenal, and Soon had one of the most insane shots I've ever seen in my life fight me. Like, holy shit.
Well, when Soon is on, he's one of those guys, he's like Taimu too. He's one of those streaky guys, when they're on, they don't miss anything.
Right.
And that shot was dopey. I'm not fighting you on that one.
Like, it still blows my mind how he was able to hit that. Like, especially when you watch like you see, he was at 9 health.
Yeah, that's the thing with that
9. I just turned it on, and when you see it from the actual, from like the game perspective, you didn't see it from Soon. You saw it from God, or no, it was Rhea.
Yeah.
You see it from Rhea's perspective, and you're just like, oh, he's got it. Oh, wait, what? He died? Like, how? And then you see it again from Soon's perspective, and you're just like, it's somehow even more insane. And then he gets, like, he goes off for 3 kills right in a row. Like, ridiculous.
That was nuts.
Just nutty. I loved it. Yeah. It was so fun.
I mean, this match was one of the better matches we've had all year. I'm not going to lie. Everything was pretty close, except for the last map. Hangzhou kind of handled them on Busan on map 5. Yeah,
that's really where, like, Hangzhou was just like, okay, and they were just like, we're not messing around anymore.
Yeah, but like that Eichenwald map, like, what's with the escort maps of this week? It's going on forever.
Oh my God!
Like, they're
so much back and forth,
which is fine. I have no problem with that. I watch escort maps all day long, especially Eichenwald. Even if they are playing goats on it. I still like it. But this match, Hangzhou, like this weekend, I think Hangzhou, we said earlier, proved that they're better than they played in the first stage.
Yes.
Paris is just Paris.
Yeah.
As much as Soon carried on that one map, it just doesn't happen enough. And I know most of the time you're playing goats and all that, but even the teams that play goats, when they're playing goats or whatever, like, you have like Rougehan going off, or you have like teams, you know, Bumper goes off for Vancouver, or someone goes, like Sinatra goes crazy on Zarya. They don't have those moments.
Yeah.
And I know it's team oriented, but at some point, someone's got to take over.
Right.
You know, even like if you want to go like Toby, like, with the boots and all that stuff.
I mean,
there are times you just need somebody to take over. And they don't have that.
No, they really don't.
They're like Valiant, the Valiant of 2019.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're the last year's Valiant.
Yeah, they're last year's Valiant right now.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they got into a stage playoff, like the Valiant did. but they don't have that finish.
Yes.
Like, they went back and forth with Hangzhou, then they got smoked in the last map.
Just when you think that they're really starting to figure it out, like they just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
And that was always our biggest gripe with the Valiant last year. All right, so let's move on to the big upset of the day.
Yeah.
Chengdu taking London out 3-1. Wow.
That was an awesome match.
It was so fun.
Well, and the thing is, and we've talked about this, and this goes to the argument for Chengdu. Mm-hmm. The first match of the week was an argument against. They can't do the thing. This is the one where you go, this is what we're talking about. They steal a win. They should, by no rights, have beaten London in any meta.
No, right.
But they did.
I mean, they showed up and they just played well. Jinmu in general was fantastic in this game. His Pharah was unreal, especially, honestly, where they really impressed me the most was how well they played Eichenwald.
Yeah, they smoked him on Eichenwald. They took it all the way in.
Their push was insane, and then holding them, that's insane.
Yeah, especially with the comps that they run. It's not like they run, the 3-3 comps and stuff like that. The thing is you can prepare for that, but you can't prepare for the skill. No. Actually, there was a weird tweet that Thorin put out. Actually, it was today. And someone tweeted on to Almang's post, and it was, I'm paraphrasing, everybody else is starting to play, wrecking ball, and they're catching up. What are your feelings on this? Are you going to start switching off? He said, a lot of people play basketball, but there's one Kobe.
Yeah, that was so good.
It nailed it. I mean,
he really did.
I mean,
that was so perfect.
It's pretty much.
I love it.
Yeah, it's not only just Amen, like you said, Jinmu, and then there are other parts like their supports are okay.
Yeah, and I would say that's probably their biggest weakness would be their supports.
Yeah. Yavatols are. I'm not a Pokemon guy. Yavatal.
Yavatal?
Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah.
But they put you over the top. Like, they are serviceable, but they are not
they're not Jonak and Animo or anything like that.
Yeah, they're not Jonak and Animo. They're not Big Goose and Shaz.
Right. Or even right now, Rujehong and Toby.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, they're not in that.
Or even though they won in this game, I would say that they're not even on the level of Nuss and Birdray.
Yeah. You mean Nuss and Badosin.
Or Badosin, yeah.
I do where you go. Yeah, like Kyo's okay.
Yeah.
Yavatal's okay.
Right. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And because their strengths really lie in their DPS and Amen.
Yeah. And it's Amen causing the chaos and throwing everybody off, and then Jinmu and whoever's in Bacon Jack,
or Yangzhao.
YXL.
Yeah, YXL. I like that better.
Yeah, we'll call him YXL. And when they put in some of the other guys, like Late Young sometimes comes in or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are doing the work. But I think it's hard to be a support on this team.
Oh, yeah, it has to be really difficult just because, they're so all over the place all the time.
I mean, guys,
it's got to be tough to keep up with that.
You guys all play.
Right.
You know what a nightmare it is when you're running triple DPS and you're the support. And these guys are pros. I mean, but still, it's just a little bit of a weakness. I think sometimes that's where things go a little bit wrong for them. It didn't go wrong for them in this one.
No, definitely not.
London also, I think, invested a little bit more time into preparing for their first game against Paris.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, that's a rivalry.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, not from an Overwatch perspective, but from a international sports life perspective. Right. Paris and London, I'm sure the people that they wanted to win for the London fans.
Exactly.
And I just don't think they prepared for him, which is a stupid thing to do against Chengdu because they will beat you, and they did.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it was kind of just that New Yorked it, where it was that kind of game where they came in sleeping and they got punished for it. And there was because like New York last year, London did the same thing. Like they did this all the time last year.
Yeah, they would lose to a random in the middle of the stage, especially the first two stages when they were hot.
Yeah. Yeah, they one game there. You're just like, really? That's the game you're going to lose?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it was New York, but I mean, a lot of times I think at first they lost 2 a couple times.
Yeah,
and it would be like they would lose to New York, and then it would be they would lose to like not that Philly's bad, but they lose to Philly. They lost to Houston when Houston was hot there. Yeah, just occasionally, I think they take a little nap.
Yeah, for sure,
especially in the double week.
Yeah,
because I don't think they're as used to it now as they were last year.
I think that definitely had definitely played a factor in it for all the teams, honestly.
Yeah, especially the back-to-back day thing.
All right, so let's move on to the third game, and probably another, I would say, runner-up to best game of the week.
Yeah,
Seoul versus Valiant.
The Valiant played well, and I'm just going to throw that. This was probably
the best that the Valiant have played all season long, even though they lost.
This weekend, actually, on the whole, even though they got 4-0'd by Dallas, which they were in a no-win situation in that with the way that crowd was and everything. There was no way.
They really weren't. But then, but at the same time, like they played so well in this match.
Oh yeah, they did.
And just in general, like they are really starting to figure things out, and I think they can make a good run in the next couple stages and sneak into that play-in.
They could.
I think they've got a good shot.
I often wonder if there's going to be, because there was talk last stage of them moving Fate, and I just wonder what if they're still looking at that. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
because they seem to be looking better, but who knows? I mean, Space had a really good weekend. I mean, he was fantastic in this match.
Yes, it really looks like Space is kind of starting to come back to life. Yeah. And then there was it was on, what was it, Kings Row, where, no, it wasn't Kings Row, I think it was Junkertown, when you had Kareev go back to
support
Zenyatta.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Did he look good on Zenyatta in that match?
Well, he likes playing that more than DPS.
Yeah.
I mean, he's said as much. And it's not that he was a bad Zarya. I think he was more suited to playing DPS in an actual DPS meta, not like one where people are wanting to be a DPS meta. Like last year. I didn't think he did that bad. He wasn't great,
I felt like he held his own at when he was able to play like a true DPS characters last year. But I mean, it doesn't mean that he's not still a very good Zenyatta. It was fun to see that. But just in general, with this match, Seoul really showed how clutch they can be at times.
Yeah,
especially
they did.
On Oasis. Holy crap! There was that. I mean, they put the clamps on them on Oasis.
Yeah, they clutched that one out. And they did it a couple times too. I mean, especially. They kind of smoked him on that second run on Kings Row, and then the Valiant came back. They kind of looked like Seoul had a little bit of confidence. Valiant came back and beat him on Junkertown, but they did things. They're doing things this year that they didn't do last year, which is why they didn't win. Right. They're not folding.
Yeah, they are not giving up. They're holding points and like they're contesting when you think it's over. Like that was something that always bugged me with them last year, is like you would see these really good teams like New York or London, and they'd hold these points where like with like 1 or 2 people at the very last minute until the rest of the team could get back. And that was just something that Seoul was never able to do. And it kind of reared its ugly head in the first map on Oasis.
It did a little bit.
But then they just came through and were so just dominated the rest of it.
Yeah, they did.
It was unreal.
And everybody better watch out. I think they're sneaky good right now. So
yeah.
I know some of the other podcasters are fans, and they call it, like Totem calls it, the solar coaster. Which, well, you're
he is not wrong.
No, he's not. And I would definitely call this like the top of the hill right now. Mm-hmm. As long as it maybe hit that level point when you're on a roller coaster, maybe just keep going. Maybe keep going up.
Right. Keep going up, guys. That's all you gotta do.
I think they're actually coming into their own, and wow, shocker, they changed their roster.
Yep.
Except for a couple of key components that were leaders on the team.
Right.
Hear that,
but, hey,
South Texas?
You didn't move
just
Rouge Hong to main tank?
Yeah, they still have they still have Asian Dallas fuel tendencies from last year. Well,
yeah,
they were the mirror team for the Asian fans. They were Dallas East. Right,
no kidding.
Far
East.
Oh.
But yeah, this game was just, it was so fun to watch.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see where the Valiant kind of go from this, because I really think that, like, even though they didn't win either game, I think that they made some real progress.
They did.
In these games, and they've got a good shot to really come back in the next couple of stages and shock some people.
Oh yeah, I think for sure they have plenty of positive things to pull out of this weekend, mm-hmm. and the stage. You know, they even last stage to an extent. The beginning of the stage, they were going 3-2 a couple times and they lost. They were playing tough competition that was better mm-hmm. than them, and it snowballed into confidence and all that.
Yeah,
whatever. But they regrouped. They put the big brain boy in there, and they seem to be playing better. Imagine that.
Yep. Huh. Imagine that.
Put the team leader in, and the team plays better. Huh. That's
God.
That's really hard to figure out.
All right, so let's move on to the real match of the week and the big marquee matchup.
In theory. But as far as the fans go, there. And it was everything we wanted it to be. I mean, it was loud as fuck.
It was so loud, but I can't even say half of the arena, because it definitely was far more Fuel fans than there were Outlaw fans.
Shrieking Outlaws.
After map 3 is when those fans definitely quieted down quite a bit.
They did take them out of Anubis. I mean, I will give them that, which is a map that they used to win a lot. Well, they were really good on last year, which is... Mm-hmm. And Dallas is mediocre at best on. This is another one where Oj was out of control.
Yeah.
In a good way. And they're just week to week with this team. 1 week you're like, yep, they're done. Next week you're like, wow, they're in their top 5. Next week, how the fuck did they lose to these two teams? You know what I mean? And thank God they won this match for them, because they would have been the subject of a lot of ridicule this week, and I would have been throwing it right at them. But
I mean, like we've said so many times with this Houston team, is just like,
they're trying things, though. I will give them that.
They're finally starting to try some things, but it feels like it's too little, too late. And like we said, like, at this point, I don't care how many different things you try. The biggest issue is your roster. Yeah. And to really take the next step and elevate yourself above anyone, or because you're not above anybody. Like, that's the thing, is like, every other team does something better than them, and like they're just not above anybody, and
they're on
anybody
the level
on their roster.
They're on the level with Florida and Washington right now. The only thing they do better is, I will say, Muma is playing out of his mind sometimes, and that's because he has to. Right. Because he has to hard carry so many times, or try to do something, no matter what he's playing, because the rest of them are just. We talked enough about that, but you know, they're not good.
Mm-hmm. And then also, like, you're seeing you're seeing the evolution of the fuel. Like they're constantly making adjustments with this roster and and fine tuning and finding the best fit. And adding Note has really made them much better.
And putting Zachary in too.
Yeah, keeping Zachary in, and just it's really elevated them to be a much better team. Yeah. Minus that wonky week where they lost 2 games.
Granted, this was an easier week.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They did. It's the one thing I know. Everybody does people get to college football and tournament style Overwatch League. You got to take it more from the perspective of a regular like sport with a regular schedule. Mm-hmm. You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, or you're never going to be given the opportunity to play in the playoffs and try to beat the better teams.
Exactly. Everyone's
like, well, this team beat that team and that. No, Dallas, they need to beat the teams that are below them. It's like, you got to think of more of a baseball mentality.
Right. You got to beat the teams that are worse than you.
To win, then you grind it out and maybe pull a couple of series here and there against the teams that are better than you.
Off of teams that are really good.
Yeah.
Like that's how that is baseball parity at its finest, and that's kind of how you have to approach this league. Like, it's a little bit of that, it's a little bit of football as well, and it's the same type of thing in football. Like, you have to, if you want to be a good team, you have to beat the teams that are worse than you.
Yeah.
Because you have so few games and they matter so much, and there's so few games in this league, especially per stage.
Yeah, you have to. You have to beat the
vital.
Especially when you're gifted like a stage where you don't have as hard of a schedule, you got to rack up those wins.
When you don't have to play multiple games against San Francisco and like things like that.
Yeah, and Vancouver, like you have one of those stages where you have Vancouver, San Francisco, maybe one of them twice.
Right.
But you have to win the other stages where you have Florida and Houston and Washington.
Right. Exactly.
And you have to win those games. And people can say what they want and they say their schedule's weak or whatever, but if you don't win those games, you're never going to be given the opportunity to see how you do against the better teams.
Right, because they're just going to see
scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Because look at Philly last year.
Look at what Seoul did in the stage playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Like that. Those are the type of things. Like if Seoul didn't beat the teams that they should have beat, they wouldn't have even had that opportunity to take New York out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's things like that I think Dallas is starting to separate themselves from some teams. Yes, the schedule's a little not as hard as some of the other teams this stage, but you know what? They're taking advantage of it. And that's the whole thing.
I think with them, they're going to be a team that they seem like a team that when there's the more that's against them, the better they play.
Yeah.
Like they handle.
They did that last year too.
And expectations very well, not necessarily expectations, but things like when they're counted out is when they play their best.
Oh, definitely. Because last year that happened a couple times. I remember, the Shanghai game where Effect went stone cold there. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like,
exactly.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing what Dallas does. And, Houston may or may not get their shit together. I know someone said, well, they're selling the team, so they don't want to invest in anything. But look, here's the thing, and I agree with you to an extent. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. But whoever said that, I agree with you to an extent. But from a seller standpoint, don't you want something that's going to be viable, that's going to give you money, bring you some kind of turnover? So you bought this team. They were good last year, and they're absolute hot garbage this year. Is someone going to pay more for that or less?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the revenue and all that stuff.
Like maybe if you talk to somebody and they want to overhaul the roster themselves, maybe that's about the only reasoning I could see to it.
But sometimes teams will bring in better players before a sale. Mm-hmm. Well, and then there's the opposite where they do the fire sale thing. I mean,
right.
But I'm always for
I mean,
that.
they could do a fire sale, but who was wanting it?
Yeah. I'd take Muma, and I would take Linkser, depending on the meta. Take
Fair
Jake
enough.
for a coach. If necessary, Brigitte. And it's not for the skill, it's for the shot calling and the absolute insane game knowledge the dude has.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But that would be about it.
Right.
The rest of the guys are not terrible. They're not great.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I lived that all last year. Remember when? I mean, guys, I'm a Mayhem fan. Yeah, I mean, I say it every fucking week. If you listen to the shows last year, I was doing Houston fans are doing this shit. You know, they're not that bad. You know, Swoosh isn't as bad as you think he is. They just need to change. And no, they were terrible.
Yeah.
If you can't win maps and fights against at that point when the Gladiators before Fissure, and you know some of the other teams that were not as good with Dallas, you know you can't at that point. You're not good. We're going to give you a little roadmap of what's going on since we did do this a little different. We're not going to do the power rankings this week because I mean half the teams didn't play.
Right.
So it's not that it's unfair, but it's really not a gauge because I mean you have the top 5 teams in our power ranking weren't even there.
Right.
So it's just a couple teams, and it really wouldn't move too much anyway. Nothing really would have gotten swayed in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. There's like a few teams that might move up and a few teams might move down, but I mean, it's really going to be pretty minimal. Plus, there's just more to talk about in terms of stage playoffs, and that's what we really want to focus on. Is looking at what teams need to do what to make the stage playoffs, and then their viability in the stage playoffs, and kind of diving more into that. So we're going to focus more on that this week. So expect that episode coming probably
midweek.
Yeah, midweek.
So before we get to the
matches on
matches
Thursday
and all that stuff. We're going to do like we did last stage, the stage playoff math episode.
Yep.
There's going to be moments of us going, no, wait. Now, if Dallas wins, but they win 3-0, and then Hangzhou 3 2s, and then 4 0s, Hangzhou's in and Dallas is out.
Then, those things will happen, and that, and So, expect that.
And
listen to our poor attempts at trying to figure out the math on these things.
Hey, we did a pretty good job last time. We had the math figured out.
We didn't do too bad.
But speaking of math and all that stuff, we still, and now, guys in the comments below, if you've seen something that we haven't, I mean, I'm kind of all over the place looking at stuff, but I haven't heard any confirmation of what exactly the quote-unquote change was going to be to addressing ties.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard any confirmation from that. I suppose we'll find out on Sunday when they decide to
finally tell us.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or when they're like, oh crap, we forgot to do that, and that's when they decide to do it that day.
Nanzer, get a coin.
Right.
Go in the Warcraft room and find some commemorative BlizzCon coin and just start flipping them.
Right, and just forget which side is heads. It'll be great.
Is it the Horde or the fucking...
Was Horde... Did we call Horde or Alliance, or did we call Garrosh... Garrosh Thrall? I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's still a weird thing that's looming. I mean, it's not like it's the BL end all. As long as they don't do it with the finals.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around with that, like that 12-team thing, because that middle is really jumbled.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, we definitely, hopefully we hear what's going on with that, and when and if we do see that, we'll definitely try to tell you guys about it and kind of give you our spin on it.
Anyway.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this one up. So thanks a lot, guys. Sorry we didn't do the stream, but, scheduling, and then it was inventory work, and then massive Game of Thrones episode, and there's no way I would have been able to talk about anything besides that after that.
Yeah, no kidding.
And if you guys watch, you know why. Play of the game. Can someone please do that meme? Because that's what that was. I want
for sure.
If one of you guys is a better video editor than me, I'm not spoiling anything. End of the episode, play of the game from Overwatch. I want that.
Yes.
With the music.
Yes.
Going over the final scenes. Someone do that.
We need this so bad now.
Yes. I could try, but I'll probably fail. I need someone better than me at that. Anyway. All right, guys. So thanks a lot. Just had to throw that in there. And thanks for joining us. And if you're on YouTube, please hit a like and a subscribe if you're new. Thanks a lot. If you've been around for a long time, we very much appreciate all of your support on all platforms. If you're on the podcast side, if you're on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the other Stitcher, whatever your podcatcher thing may be, definitely rate us. And then, as always, comment below. Look on social media to see what we're up to, what we're doing. You never know what could happen. We could be doing a stream here and there, you know. But we also have a Patreon page where I'm actually working on some stuff that I'm going to be throwing up on there for our subscribers. So please join it. There's different tiers and all that stuff, and it would support us in, you know, what we do. You get better equipment, doing different things, maybe heading out to a match next year. Who knows? So thanks a lot, guys, and we will catch you on the next one.
Catch you guys in the next one. Later.